Hi everyone, welcome to another video in this series from Rita Berman's Asian book. We have a very lovely little sewing selection of items here. So we have fabrics and buttons, I think, and different things. So a lot of fun. I'm actually going to start with the pin cushion. Now in the UK, well, when I was a child, pin cushions used to be made, I'm going to use the lemon yellow, of a yellow sort of sponge-like material. So that's what I'm going to use, but we've obviously got these little shapes on it, so we're going to colour those in a different colour. But I thought we would do sort of yellow, although this is a bit of a bright yellow. I'm using Castle Art Soft Touch, as I have for all of this page, and trying to do it quite lightly because it's a bit bright. But anyway, I remember my aunt used to have this little pin cushion of sponge. I think my mum did too. And you get a little container here with the lid would have the sponge on, and all the pins would be kept in the container underneath. They were all sewing things. Used to make me clothes and themselves. My aunt would also do embroidery, but she used to make clothes for her siblings when they were small. She I'm going to find a green. I think I'm just going to do those as leaves. They look leaf shaped to me. Castle green. She brought up all her siblings when her mother died when she was 16, I think, my aunt, and my mother was 1, and so she stepped into that role. So she made all their clothes. She was a very, very neat seamstress. She was always being praised for it at school. Now we have some heart-shaped needle pins. I'm thinking I might just do all of these in a nice pink shade. I think this might look nice. I think we'll keep it delicate. We'll use the rose pink. Oh, I can't see. There we go. Yeah. Apparently when her other sisters, she was the oldest, when her younger sisters went through school, they all got compared to her, and none of them were as good at sewing as she was. And they always said, "Oh, you're not as good as your sister." Oh, must have been horrible for them. I think my mum didn't get that so much because she was so much younger. I think by the time she was in school, she'd already had 1, 2, 3 sisters in between her and the eldest, so they probably didn't have such high expectations by then. Now we've used quite a few different colours already. I'm thinking I want to do this background now so that I don't run out of colour options really. Oh, we've got a little heart there actually. I'll just do that with a pink. So back with my rose pink, I'll just do this little heart. I don't know, I mean it's a little bit random, isn't it? But it's pretty. There we go. So I'm going to do the background, I think, in a light blue. I might keep things on this one a little bit sort of light. Oh, my hands are cold. I think I'm going to use the cobalt turquoise. It's the sort of lightest blue. It's quite delicate and pretty. And I'm just going to do a light layer through all of the background to start with. So I was brought up, my mum was still doing various sewing. She had a sewing machine by then, not all this hand sewing, and she did make some of my clothes when I was very small. As I got older, she didn't so much. I think it got cheaper to buy ready-made clothes than it was to buy fabric. But I was taught to knit and sew as a child, and crochet as well. So I did a bit of embroidery, cross stitch, that sort of thing. I'm sure I could do it now, but I don't. And I know how to sew on buttons and name tapes and do very, very basic darning, which is all very useful actually. It's, you know, when your child falls over in their school trousers and rips a big hole in the knee, which happens a lot, you can darn it, which is useful. My darns aren't always that successful or last that long, but it just buys you a little bit of time while you find some new trousers for them, and so that was always very handy. and sewing buttons on and things like that is always a good skill. Knitting, I made myself a top once, but I didn't like it. I never really liked wearing hand knitted tops. I think it comes from when I started secondary school, so at 11, I had a very strict uniform, as you do at secondary school in the UK, and there was only 3 of us in the class who had hand knitted jumpers. Everyone else had bought ones, because there was a pattern. You had to stick to it very carefully. You know, the uniform was strict, but there was the option of hand knitting a jumper. You wouldn't have that these days, and so it was cheaper, so that's what happened. I had a hand knitted jumper, and it actually, I think my friend did too. There might have been 4 of us in the class of 28, but there's still a sort of stigma that, you know, you were the poor kids that couldn't afford to buy the jumper, sort of thing. I'm going over the corners a little bit more because Rita has indicated they should be a little bit darker, just from her sort of cute dotting. So I'm just doing that a little bit. I think we're nearly done. I'm just gonna make sure it's nice and tidy-ish. I'm not that tidy, you know that. Okay, now this fabric looks really pretty, almost like a sari fabric. I'm not really sure. I've got the needle. Let's do the needle because I know what colour to do that. I'm looking for a grey. I'm looking in the wrong place. Now, I only have this cool grey or cool grey deep, and it's actually quite dark. I'm going to sharpen it because obviously it needs to be thin. And we'll see what happens, really. I'm going to just try to be quite gentle. Top and bottom a little bit darker, and then leave a little gap to make it look shiny. Can't do that with the pins. They're too fine, and I think we'll leave that there. So now we need some fabric colours, and I almost think I want them to be quite bright, but on the other hand I had said I want it to be quite a pastel-y page, so I'm a bit indecisive. That's why I'm not just digging in. I know what we'll do. Oops. We'll start with a cadmium red, but what we'll do is we'll do this one here, but we won't apply it too hard. So it's not going to be like our bat up here, which you can't see. It'll be a little bit lighter. So if I use a lightish touch with the pencil, then we still see that it's red, but it isn't intense. So the thing is, if you do one thing really dark and the rest really light, it stands out, and that can be really good if you want to bring attention to a specific thing. However, if you want everything to look quite equal across the page, which I do, I don't think there's something specific. It's not like our lion above, he's the main feature. You know, there isn't really any, so it's just trying to keep it fairly even. But also remembering that we've got our stickles to go on later. And where do we put those? And that will draw attention as well. I want a sort of goldy colour for these other bits. I think I'm going to use the cadmium yellow. And I'll probably put some gold stickles on top of these. But I may not, I think. I haven't done the bottom of that, have I? I've just noticed it, I didn't even know it existed. Not being very observant this morning. It's quite early. Well, it feels early. It's 9:15. It's not that early. I've just settled everyone, getting on with stuff. I'm hoping they're getting on. The boys, oops, I'm just grabbing the cadmium red again because I missed that bit there and that bit there. Yeah, they haven't got any homework, so they should be revising, but it's quite difficult to know where to start, isn't it, when you're revising? So I thought I'd come in here, do a little bit, and I'll pop back out in a bit and see where they're at and if they need any help. I'm going to use this orange. This is the cadmium orange for this fabric here. I've got these stars. I'm going to do all of it in a light layer. I'm going to actually go over the stars because they're so small. It's going to be easier to use a darker colour on top after. I had thought about using stickles on these, but they're so small. I think I might just use them on there, maybe on the buttons. Have a think in a minute. We've got a sort of, I don't want it to look too dark, so if we use a gentle pressure it looks quite light. But we need to darken up these areas where Rita has told us to, from her little lines. And I think in here it might be a bit darker in the sort of where it's rolled up. And keeping it nice and straightforward though. I might just put a little bit of a shadow in there, like that. Okay. Now we've got a stripy piece next. I'm thinking maybe a darker blue. We've actually got this ultramarine violet. I think that'll work nicely. So I'm going to do sort of every other stripe in this, again a lightish application, just to keep it. Oh yeah, this colour always looks like a blue big biro colour. I think it's quite a funny colour. And I'm going to make it out that this bit underneath is the same. I can't work out if it's meant to be part of the same roll of fabric or not. Oops, that bit. There we go. And then we need another colour to go with it. We could go sort of grey. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I think I'll go grey. I'll grab the grey we've already used, which is the cool grey. That's what we use for the needle. Oh, we're right by the needle, aren't we? No, we don't want to do that. I changed my mind. We'll do I think a pink, a dark, a sort of really dark one. The cherry pink, or yeah, no, the jaipur pink. It's a dark pink, but try and again keep it lightish. That's it. I'm happy with it like that. So layering up a little bit, but not too much. That's it. There we go. Then we have, I've just realised my husband's got a meeting in 10 minutes. I don't know if he's remembered. Never mind. That top one. I'm thinking green. I'm going to use quite a dark green. This is, it's Hooker's green. And for the fabric, I'm going to try and press reasonably lightly, try and avoid the pins. That's it. And then actually do the dots in the same colour. It's a bit lazy of me, I guess, but I think it just makes it a bit different to the others. Now we have our buttons left. I guess buttons can be any colour really. I've got buttons on my cardigan that are brown and grey. Let's do a sort of this colour. This is the terracotta. Let's do one in that colour. This one. So what I do with the button, so I go over lightly first, and then I assume the button is going to have a raised bit around here, like this button that I've got. Can you see how the edge is raised? So it's going to be darker in that bit in the middle, where the raised bit is going to be catching the light. So I'm going to make a little dark line around there. Just bring that in a little bit towards the middle and leave that outside bit a bit lighter. I'm going to darken it slightly because it looks like I haven't coloured it very neatly. There we go. This button though looks flat. I think they're buttons. I mean, they've only got one hole in the middle, but I don't know, maybe they're beads. Who knows? I'm going to make this one yellow, and I want to try this yellow. This is the brilliant yellow. think it's quite dark. Yeah. There we go. Now, I haven't done, of course, the bottom of this. I'm thinking I might use that green colour that the leaves are. Maybe that'll work. So use the castle green. You could do it in a silvery colour if you wanted. But I'm thinking it's probably plastic rather than metal. So just bring it in a little, fade it a little bit in the middle so it looks a bit shiny. There we go, that's a bit better. Now I'm just going to use some stickles on those three to start with, and I want to use the gold because I wanted that to look like it was gold on the fabric. I've actually got a piece of a scarf which has got gold thread actually on it in an embroidered pattern. It's really pretty. Well, it's like a pashmina, I suppose. My mother-in-law gave it to me because it matched a dress that I had. I don't have the dress anymore, but it's really lovely. I think she said it was Indian, but I'm not sure. She did tell me where she got it from. She was gifted it, I think. There we go. I quite like the idea of making those pins. The pins shine with some diamond stickles. So I'm going to put a little bit. I just need to shake this one down a bit. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit on each one. Probably no need I squeeze it too hard on that one. I'm going to do it on the black ones as well because I think otherwise it'll look a little bit strange if we miss them out. I don't know how well you can see what I'm doing with these because they're glue. It's quite hard to see if the light's not catching the glitter. You can't really see it, but hopefully. And I don't talk because I'm concentrating. Oh, I've missed one out. Oop, splodge. Now my final dilemma is: do I put some on there? On there. I have decided yes. There we go. Not on the buttons though, I think we've got enough now. So I don't know how much you can see. Sparkle, well, you can see the one on the next one as well. That rabbit one is really sparkly. There we go. So there is our sort of embroidery section, I suppose. So that's that. So that's that one for today. So thank you for watching. I hope that was okay. And we've got our last one tomorrow, which is very much foodie. So that'll be fun. I think we've got dumplings and chilli and delish. So that'll be fun. But for now, let's pop that in the middle so you can see it. There we go. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.